Happy Tuesday, GenderqueerChat. We haven't seen you in a few days because GenderqueerChat has been on something of a spontaneous holiday for the last few days, weekend off or something. And I'm here to kick off this week's topic, which is, and as I am the first speaker on the topic, I'll just read the whole thing. To combat binary thinking, gender is often represented as existing on a spectrum between male and female, masculine and feminine. Do you see any limitations to this model? Seems like almost a trick question on a GenderqueerChat channel. How do you perceive gender? Bonus question, complete and share your own gender Gumby / genderbread person. Now, let's see here, where to begin. I think I'm going to state what will turn out to be a fairly common line this week, that gender isn't necessarily a simple spectrum from masculine to feminine or anything. And Gender Gumby, if you're not familiar with it, you will be by the time this week is done. It's an interesting thought experiment. It takes this concept of gender and breaks it down into these different levels. There's like the sexuality of your reproductive system and how you identify, how you present yourself, who you like to fuck, things like that. Because it breaks it down to show just the fact that gender is a multi-level wild thing instead of this really simple little binary switch or even a simple continuum. Now, I have some issues with some fairly common gender Gumby models, although they're all very handy for getting into. Some of the more commonly seen ones incorporate sexuality as far as like preference of the gender of your sexual partners into the gender Gumby multi-dimensional array spectrum thing. And I'm usually kind of uncomfortable with that. Even though I really don't discriminate based on whether your plumbing or your identity are male or female, masculine, feminine, androgynous, intersex, whatever. For me, sexuality and gender are not related in quite that overt a way. I think there is a connection. I think there is some wiring in which these things are related, but for me it's not something I'm really in sync with right now. My own model of gender is kind of breaking out into something more expansive, and it hasn't taken on a concrete form yet. But I feel like it kind of ties in with the recent question of whether or not genderqueer falls in with the lesbian, gay, bisexual, LGBTQI, BBQ, WTF, SQL, LOL formula. And, yes, we're under that umbrella. And as I mentioned in my video on that one, there are some, I think, kind of straightforward reasons for that. But when it comes to like, how do I want to identify myself gender-wise, I think for a lot of people that's not really the most meaningful part of the continuum. Continuum is not the best word there, but it's a word you're likely to hear a lot this week. Now, I'm not going to do a gender bread or gender Gumby as such this week because I spent a little bit of time really reflecting on it a little while ago, and as is common with this sort of thought experiment, my mind just went in a lot of different directions and really just got to exploring it deeply, and it's kind of a rabbit hole for me. I can really go deeper and deeper and deeper into it. But a few things that I can just say are that for me, it's not a male, female, genderqueer thing. It's, in my case, it's sort of a combination male and female and some hybrid kind of gooey middle stuff that doesn't really like, here's where I fit on that line. It doesn't really fit into that model. And because for me, there's more to me than just that. There's more to my gender identity than just that. My physical gender, my physical sex, as I've just mentioned on various occasions, I have sex characteristics of both male and females. However, this is due to hormone replacement therapy and not due to being born intersex. My brain has been somewhat rewired by taking estrogen and androgen blockers for a couple of years. And so for me, I'm not really, a point on a line. I'm not a series of lines covering different angles. I feel like I'm a little bit more of this exotic calculus equation, I mean, I am just so many different arcs and lines of force and motion. For me, it's not a static image. For me, it's this dynamic, flowing, exploding, maybe even not entirely internally consistent sort of thing. And so that's where I find myself. And that is one of the beauties of looking into your own gender, is because this week, today, tonight, you can look at it and it seems this way to you. 6 months from now or tomorrow morning, it can be totally different. And so for those of you who are so inclined, we would love to see, and I know we are always saying, oh, give us comments and video responses and everything, but this is Gender Gumby Week. If you are at all interested in participating, this could be a fun, easy week to do it with, because you could actually just type Gender Gumby into Google and have a piece of paper that you could just print out and pull out a marker and hold it up to the camera and just show us where you're at. You don't even have to talk. And there's a variety of reasons you might not want to do that. After all, I think we have kind of a trans contingent that watches this channel, and some of you guys are like me and your voice does not match how you feel. Why don't you fire up a camera and just hold up your Gender Gumby and give us a thumbs up? That would be so wicked. So that's my suggestion. That's my homework for you. I hope you're down with it. And if not, so we will see you soon. And this week, I think you'll get to see a little bit more out of GenderqueerChat than you've seen over the last several days, but also a few surprises. So, peace.